Hello, and thank you for joining me on this Lenten devotional series. This is day one, Ash Wednesday, February 17th, and we will be working out of A Story to Tell, Devotions for Lent 2021, beginning on page 4 today, and we will begin with a reading from Mark. The beginning of the good news of Jesus Christ, the Son of God, as it is written in the prophet Isaiah. See, I am sending my messenger ahead of you, who will prepare your way. The voice of the one crying out in the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord, make his paths straight. Something to ponder from Elizabeth Libert from The Way of Discernment. Ignatius of Loyola chose a word for this purity of intention. He used the word indifference. And he used that word in a particular way. By it, he meant being as free as humanly possible to follow the call of God. We start our Lenten journey by shedding. So the questions that we have in our daily devotional today are, how do your beginnings go? How do you usually get started on something? Do you plan or procrastinate? Are you cautious, or do you just jump right in? How has your Lenten journey began today? So I'm just going to reflect on that for just a moment, and then we will continue on with the daily devotional itself. Typically, my beginnings go very quickly. Once I've made a decision to do something, I usually jump right in, sometimes with very little planning. My Lenten journey this morning has been a little busy. We were up, my wife and I were here at the church until 10:30 last night, finishing up the recording for our Ash Wednesday video service. And I've been over here since I took the kids to school this morning, trying to get that video to upload. 3 hours later, when it finally uploaded, it wasn't right, so I had to go out and take it down. So my Lenten journey has been a little rough in the first 13 hours, so I hope yours is going better. In all of this preparation for Lent, I still feel unprepared. I'm certainly feeling some pressure, mostly of it self-imposed. I feel pressure to have a perfect Ash Wednesday service, and we've kind of botched that already, but we'll move on. To have a great set of sermons for Lent, and to begin preparing for Holy Week. Then I read this reflection referring to St. Ignatius of Loyola. He talks about purity of intention in preparing the way of the Lord and making the paths straight. And he uses this term indifference. I think he knew that this was a daunting task for each of us. And when we add the distractions, stress, and expectations of the world around us, it can seem impossible. Truthfully, on our own, it is impossible. Luther reminds us that we are broken creatures who can do nothing righteous in the absence of our Creator. That is where I find beauty in Ignatius's word, indifference. Indifference, in the way that Ignatius uses it, is not an expression of apathy or not caring. It's a way to look at things so that we realize that ultimately the outcome is not about or because of us. The work we do is important, but ultimately its success is through the work of God and the Holy Spirit. And I suggest that even when our efforts seem to be a complete failure, like my Ash Wednesday worship video is turning out to be a failure, God will use it in good ways, even when we don't see it. This gives me courage to engage in ministry with a sense of that holy indifference, knowing that I will likely make mistakes because I'm human, but God will use all of it for the work of spreading the good news of Jesus. So going back and getting on script with our daily devotion, the writer continues this way.